better today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Chaos Corner podcast. My name's Steve,
Yes. My name's Donovan.
and we got it right this week. Well, I
Yes,
I
we got the
it up
rotation.
last
Yeah,
time.
we're still good. Still good.
How are we, everyone? Hope we are all doing well. We are now live on Facebook, and we are also live on the old YouTube as well. How
Okay.
fancy is that?
We out to
Simultaneously.
the corner at the moment.
I'm just doing it now as we speak. So what we want to talk about today, as you can see from the title, is we're going to be talking about endings. Not like permanent endings. We're talking like endings for films, TV shows, and the like, and how some of them can be very anticlimactic, some of them can be just brilliant, but it's very subjective, and sometimes it causes more of a stir. More of a stir.
Rage. Well,
Yeah,
didn't I
than you might
think?
think.
I think it's quite apt at the moment, isn't it? Because especially in the UK, there was a little show that a lot of people were talking about
Yeah,
called. Is it Call
Line of Duty.
Line of
It was a
Call of Duty is the game, isn't it?
Yeah, Call of Duty is the
I
computer
always
game.
call it Call of Duty. Line of Duty. That's it. You can tell I'm a massive fan of the show.
Yeah,
So to be honest, everyone was talking about it. Everyone.
yeah,
It
everyone.
was everywhere online. It was my
Yeah.
God, blah 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 blah. You know, Line of Duty this, Line of Duty that, blah 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 blah. And we weren't interested. I wasn't really interested in watching it. But it's like peer pressure. It's like online
Yeah.
peer pressure. So
Yes.
it just built and built and built and built, and then we're always talking about the final episode, and then there was this big switch over, and everyone was talking about 1 hour to go, and I was like, wow, people are really into this.
Yeah, they were like
60 seconds to go, it's happening. Everyone hold hands. And yeah, the next day, I don't know about you, but I think a lot of people didn't seem that happy or impressed with the ending.
Oh no, they didn't seem very impressed at all. No, I didn't watch it. I've fallen off the bandwagon. I tend to find that if it's not on Netflix or Amazon Prime, I generally tend to not watch it. I know that's probably a bit wrong of me to be ignoring the other platforms out there, but they're just my favourites, and that's where I've found most of my content. But yeah, endings do cause a stir, and I suppose a lot of the time it's because really deep down people don't want them to end at all.
Well, yeah, go on.
I just wanted to say to everybody, just stick around towards the back end of this, because we've got some big announcements on some upcoming things that we've got going on. And these things are huge game changers in the industry. We're going to be leading the way. Oh, we've only just got this thing working, but
we're not leading the way in faulty equipment, by the way. Like leading the way. No. To be honest,
but we have got some huge
there's some exciting things in the pipeline.
Yeah, but we're not going to tell you until the end. So it's up to you as to whether it's anticlimactic.
You think that's a good ending or not?
Or whether it's a good ending. So you got to stick around till the end to find out what it is. So what's Nick Mully saying? I'd never heard of it until all the commotion. Let me get the chat banner.
Get the comments.
I can't see it at the moment. Where's the comments? Let's have a look. Nick Mully. So I'd never heard of it until all the commotion. No, I hadn't really. I kind of heard rumblings of it, but I'd never really taken any notice of it before, so I didn't really know what it was. But yeah, they can be. Who remembers Lost? Did you watch Lost?
No, my family did.
My
whole family, apart from myself, watched it. They used to sit, my sister, my mum and dad. I wasn't that interested. I think at the time I was very busy with other things, and I wasn't that interested in series. But they really get into them.
Yeah,
and I think it gripped them as a family. I think I remember. Go on, you go. What you remember of the ending, because you watched it, didn't you?
I wanted to hurt someone at the end of it. Like I wanted to find the person. I wanted to find the man, and I wanted to hurt him.
Yeah,
it was just. I was like, I mean, I'm no writer, as you know, but I just felt like it was lazy writing. I was just thought like he's obviously got to the end. He's done all this great work. He's accumulated this huge huge audience and just gone,
This
nah, fuck
massive
you.
interest. Okay.
Right at the end.
I
just
think
gone,
I
nah.
think we're okay. I think we're okay for spoilers at this stage for Lost. What happens
Yeah, I
at the
mean,
end
it's
then?
old. Well, it was all a dream.
Is it really as simplistic as that? That's what they use. That's the device that they used.
Yeah.
Really?
From what I remember, it was just a dream. I mean, I may
Anyone
have
else
just
remember any clearer than Steve out there?
I may have just I may have just dreamt the ending myself.
I heard it
Who
was
knows?
something like
It was
a
a dream.
purgatory or something, and they were, I don't know, like some kind of weird kind of parallel or something. I don't know. I didn't watch it, but I heard a lot of things at the time.
Nick said he's only watched the one episode, but he will get around to watching it. I mean, it does look okay. I won't watch it now. I
That's
think
what
he was
happened
talking
with
about.
me.
I
With
think he
Line
was
of
talking
Duty.
about Lost. Yeah.
Yeah, with Line of Duty, what happened was, I think some years back, 'cause it's been going on for years, quite a few
Yeah,
years
it's
now,
been on for a while. Yeah.
and a lot of people got very, very het up on the first series on who is this person, and I
Yeah.
think people were a little bit pissed off at the end of the first series because they didn't tell them.
Mm.
They did that kind of classic thing at the end. You get it to the end of a series, and the question hasn't been answered still. Which
Yeah.
obviously you want people to keep watching the next series, don't you?
Yes.
But I think people were a bit annoyed that it didn't wrap it up. I think,
Mm.
yeah. But then kind of went a bit quiet. You know, people kept on watching, but then it kind of blew up again, didn't it? Because it was like the fight, and I think
Yeah.
someone said that you were definitely going to find out who this person was. They were
Yeah.
going to
That was it.
definitely be
Yeah.
identified at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they were so annoyed, but
I'd love to know.
people
Let
really
us
weren't
know.
happy.
If you can do it without giving any spoilers away, people, then do let us
Oh,
know
it's
what
already
your thoughts
spoiled.
were.
The guy's already been interviewed on shows. The guy that did it,
As
I've
in,
seen his face already. It's like what Nick said. There's no point watching the thing now for me because I already know that people weren't happy with the ending. I already know who it is. I know what their name is. I've actually seen interviews with the actor who'd done it. So what's the point?
that's a bit crap. They could have kept it a little bit more secret than that. Sorry, I'm just having microphone issues here. Mine keeps falling over. Okay, well, let's not just talk about disappointing endings. Let's talk about sometimes. Again, it's subjective because let me give you one that was massively divisive.
Okay.
And if there's anybody watching, or when you do watch this, please leave your comments because we will still reply to them, even if it's days, weeks after this podcast is finished. If
we've still got conversations going on from last week.
Yeah, there's loads of people got in touch last week, so thanks for that, everyone. But the one that I thought was divisive was Breaking Bad. No, Breaking Bad was divided. Did you watch the ending to Breaking Bad? Have you seen the ending to Breaking Bad? You've seen it. Thoughts?
What are my thoughts?
Yeah.
I was satisfied.
That's how I felt with it.
Yeah, I was satisfied with it.
But there was a lot of people really angry with it, and there was a lot of people that were like, but then there was a lot of people that said, "Oh, that's the perfect ending." And then, but with me, I was just satisfied, and I think that's the problem with a program like that is I'd built the ending up so big in my own head.
So meandering, and it builds and builds and builds, and then the thing is though, it builds and then it kind of comes down a little bit, and it goes up again, and then it comes down a little bit.
It does a lot of that. It does a lot of that in that series. But one of the things I really liked about it was the fact that he kind of only had three directions it could go. He was either going to die, he was either going to get better and go to jail, or get caught at some point because he was leading that way, or they were going to get away. And it was one of the three. And I quite like the divide where one of them gets caught. You still don't really know if he got caught because in the last scene, all you see is him lying on the floor and you hear the sirens, but you never actually see him get caught or in handcuffs.
No.
So I think that was deliberately done because they didn't know whether they were finished with it.
Yeah,
but I
semi-open-ended kind of.
And then Jesse got away, and then they did make the film. Did you watch it?
I never did watch the film. No,
I did, and it was really good.
Was it really
good? Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was.
Does he answer some questions, or
yes?
Or is it a separate story, or what?
It mostly answered the question of what happened to Jesse Pinkman. I won't say too much in case people haven't watched that, but I would definitely say watch it because it kind of answers like, well, what happens to Jesse? He gets away, he escapes, or at least you think he does. But what happens with him after that? Because if you remember, he's just now in hiding.
Yeah.
He's literally in hiding from absolutely every authority going. So what happens to him? Because you can't just hide away from that many people. So yeah, that was a really good one. I really enjoyed.
So was that a Netflix only? Where
it was. It was.
Yeah,
wasn't it called? What was it called? It was like El Diablo or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It was something along those lines.
Do you reckon that's still on there? Do you reckon that's still available?
Possibly. I'm gonna have to check that out now. I'm gonna have to check it
out.
out.
I will watch that. To be fair, I'd forgotten about it. It's one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the ending because I just thought that it seemed like the most. It left it open, which is the way I kind of like it. Leave it open, but never bring it back. Don't actually do anything with it, but just leave me with the thought that it could come back, and that keeps me happy.
Yeah,
it's like it could come back. It's like they're talking about this reuniting with of friends now, and it's like
that's just a one-off, though, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, but leave it alone. Don't actually make any episodes. Just leave it.
No, they're not. I don't think they are. I think it's like one-off interviews and kind of little like reenactments and stuff like that. So
hi Jodine. We've now got a couple of Diane and Jodine that have just joined in watching. Let us know what your favourite or least favourite endings are, or just name the film or the program, and we'll discuss. Because we're in that, and the reason we brought it up was, again, just to recap, was because the recent uproar that was caused. But then, like I said, I've spoken to people and they've gone, I thought the ending was really good, but they are few and far between.
I don't think I've heard anyone that said that. I can't remember anyone that said that. No,
I can't remember
anyone that said that.
But can I talk about my favourite ending? ever. I've talked about this show so many times on this podcast, and if everybody still hasn't watched
it, and you did force me into watching it, and I'm glad you did.
Well, Dave made me watch it. Do you remember? He literally just hounded me for like months, and you got to watch this thing. And initially, when he told me about it, and he said it's about time travel and blah blah blah, I was like,
it's an ex-colleague of ours and friend and writer.
Yeah, I just
got very excited about the series of the 12 Monkeys. The spin-off from the movie from the 90s with Bruce Willis. I think it was adapted from a novel, but yeah, it was very good. Very, very good.
So I watched that series, and I think the first couple of series, it took me a bit of like, I was like enjoying it, but I wasn't like properly enjoying it until one or two new characters came in, and then it was like, okay, now I'm really enjoying it. And then I got into this weird mental space where the thing consumed my entire waking every minute of every day. I was just like, I could not wait, because every episode was really long, and every series there was about 27 episodes. It was long, wasn't it?
Some of them were over an hour,
and it was long. I invested a lot of my life into that program, and then I just remember getting towards the last, I think it was 3 or 4 episodes, and it was easily the best TV I have ever watched. Those last 4 episodes were just
and this is a man that's watched a lot of TV.
Yeah, and I was on the phone to my brother because my brother was watching them at the same time, and we were like, "Oh my God!"
What did you cry?
He was like, "What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen?"
Which one out of you and him cried?
I've never ever got emotional at the end of anything, but I was literally watching the ending, not knowing what had happened, because it kind of just it ends and then it comes back, and I'm watching it like this, like. I don't know what's going on.
You'd invested a lot of time and emotion in the show, so.
But when it ended and you saw that little scene at the end with the house, say no more, I was like, perfect. Perfect. It was just perfect. And the thing that was so good about that program is you could not pick any holes in the plot, and I tried on that to go back and watch episodes.
And it's a very, very, very elaborate plot as well. So
watertight.
That's impressive.
It's watertight.
Really impressive.
Yeah, I loved it.
So we can go. Obviously, we can do films as well. They don't always have to be happy or satisfying endings. There can be just memorable, unforgettable, like devastating. You know, the one that springs to mind is Seven. You're never going to forget what happens at the end of that movie, are you?
What? Seven? No, that's not ringing any bells to me. Film
Seven?
called Seven. Hang
Are you
on.
kidding?
Mate, you know what I'm like at this game? I am rubbish with names.
Brad
Seven
Pitt, Morgan
Deadly
Freeman.
Sins. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, 1995. I was only a baby, all right, come on.
It's a really, really famous movie, though, Steve, and it's got one of the most
it's on Netflix,
shocking endings, like in any movie. You've got to see Seven if you've not seen it.
Now, see, it's a psychological crime thriller type film. I wouldn't typically go to that.
You wouldn't touch it.
That wouldn't be my. No, it's not. I wouldn't touch it. It's not my go-to.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't go for that one, but maybe I'll give it a watch if you think it's worth watching. Unless you're about to tell me it's a terrible ending.
And no, it's not a terrible ending. It's an unforgettable ending. It's an unforgettable ending.
I don't even know what that means.
It's shocking, and you'll never forget it. Once you've seen the ending of that movie, it'll stay with you for the rest of your life.
I've just got ideas of what the ending might be.
Me up here. The end of Seven. It's memorable. Put it that way. It's memorable.
I've got ideas on what it might be, and I haven't even seen the film. They might be just as shocking. But there are you're right. There are some iconic ones. Like, if you're going to talk of iconic endings, is there any more iconic than this? Hang on, I'm going to see if I can do it.
Okay.
No, hang on. My camera's the wrong way around.
Oh, okay. I think I know what's going. Yeah.
What film?
Terminator 2.
Ah, what a man!
Where he's dropping down to be melted.
Someone get me an Oscar.
Oh yeah, that was. Don't get. It's you there, man.
Yeah, when he starts, when he understands,
that learns to feel.
Yeah, when he understands why he leaks.
Why do you cry? What is it? Why do you cry? Why do you cry?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, and he finally gets it right at the end. And it's just like, the evil robot machine tried to make me cry. But it's weird because I could get someone could be dying with. I watched a film. Did you ever watch a film called Sex, Drugs, and Something? And I think it was something like, but it was basically not what you expected.
Well, I expected you to say rock and roll, but I'm assuming you're not going to say that.
It was Sex, Drugs, and Something. I will remember it in a minute. And it was basically a story. And you're thinking it's going to be like, sex, drugs, and rock and roll type film.
Yeah.
And I think it had Ryan Gosling in. And it turned out to be a really sad, depressing film about a bloke and a woman who got together, and then the young woman ends up with this terminal disease.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's what happens through that story. It's a really good film. It's a nice.
Yeah, it's a character piece.
It's about as nice as ending as it could have, I suppose, for a morbid movie like it was.
It's not morbid. It's life, unfortunately, isn't it?
But a bit like The Pursuit of Happiness. But when I watched it, I was thinking, this is gonna be the end, and nothing, no emotion, not so. And yet it was a really good film, well put together. It's a real sad story. Nothing. Robot smelting. Game over.
A thumbs up from a cyborg.
Thumbs up from a cyborg. Get you right there, don't it?
Destroyed. Yeah. Well,
that one, and what's the one with the dog that died? Oh God. That's
it was on the other day, actually. Is it Marley?
Marley and Me, that's the one. Michael Hare says The Notebook.
The Notebook. I haven't seen The Notebook. I
don't know if
what about the ending of The Notebook is like, because it was a book, wasn't it? The Notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those kind of films, though, just in general, are always just a little bit too predictable from the offset, which is why
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Maybe Michael can share with us what is.
Yeah, Michael. What about
memorable? What's memorable about the ending?
Yeah,
without giving it away. That's difficult to do, I guess.
no, just give it away. It's an old film now. If people ain't seen it by now. The Ryan Gosling film you're talking about? No, I'm not sure it's that one. I think it's a different one. I think he's just been in lots of those types of films. Yeah, I don't know. It could be. Maybe it is. I don't think it was though, because I think The Night Book is something very slightly different. Maybe it weren't even Ryan Gosling. I'm rubbish at names. I shouldn't do this podcast, really.
I need to find a new partner.
I can never remember.
You can't remember the name of the movie, the song,
or the person that was in
it.
All I just remember is that didn't have anywhere near the effect on me as something like, Transformers did. Like, when Bumblebee at the end stays behind, and leaves all his robot friends and they all fly off and he's...
Oh, you've got to be made of stone, I'm telling you.
It's just, anything to do with robots. Did you ever see that one where... Oh, God, I'm doing it again, but there was another... It's because I'm just thinking about off the top of my head now. These aren't the ones I'd planned to talk about, but there was one where there's a bloke who used to be a real life boxer, but it's like loads into the future. And then it ends up robots fighting in a ring, but they stand on the outside of the ring controlling them with like VR kind of.
It's brilliant. It's got, I've got your disease now. It's got Hugh Jackman in it.
Yes, it has got Hugh Jackman in it, yeah.
Someone help us. Someone take over this show for us. We're rubbish.
But I really like the ending to that. That was really good.
That was a good. I really enjoyed that movie. I can't remember what it's called.
And I can't. Do you know what the problem is? I watch too much stuff.
Yes.
Real Steel. Michael Hare's the man.
Real Steel. Yes, Michael.
Let's get Michael on the show. So we send him an invite link and just get him on here. Get him on, Michael.
We need to get Michael in our ear so he can tell us everything that
we can get him on the live.
Know or we've forgotten.
We literally could get him on the live stream if you wanted. But yeah, I just think that endings are just such an it's not like sports. I mean, sports can have devastating endings or very happy endings. But movies, you're kind of half expecting something because you've been following the storyline and you've been following the plot of it.
Yeah, and it's usually one of three different things that can happen, unless it's just the writer of it decides to just flip everything on its head. If usually a twist is a little bit like sleight of hand. So you've been going down one direction. A classic example is Usual Suspects.
Along Came a Spider.
Yeah. Well, that was a novel, wasn't it? And that was I think it's
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, but they were based on novels.
Well,
a lot of. But like obviously, Usual Suspects. The person that did it was in the room the whole time recounting the story, and that's why he knew everything that went on. Yeah. Because he was there. Because he's the guy. He wasn't just hiding in the background. He was the person that was carrying out the thing that was happening.
Naughty boy, very naughty boy. I tell you what. I tell you what. Got me. I tell you what's. They're not really endings, but I tell you what. These filmmakers do well, or these new series makers, the box set makers. The moment, the dum 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 moment at the end of every episode. Like they seem to get that perfect, don't they? They always seem to get it perfect. It's like, for example, Stranger Things.
I know there's some Stranger Things dweller fans. Right. Definitely.
Stranger Things, I literally, as soon as the first series came out, I watched one episode. Within 2 nights, I'd finished it. The whole series. Finished it. Because every episode was on such a cliff edge, you had to watch the next one. And then you found yourself at 2 o'clock in the morning still watching it. It started at 8 p.m.
And that's why Hollywood's getting its ass handed to them by Netflix and, box set culture.
Yeah. But the endings of each of them is awesome. And they've done it again with a second series. So the finish was possibly one of the greatest ending scenes. It wasn't quite the end scene. It was the bit leading up to the ending. But it's left obviously wide open because there's going to be another series. But the ending to that, the shopping mall scene, if people had seen it, is again some of the best TV. It's scary, riveting, action-packed, thrilling, hilarious, all at the same time. the comedy moments in that ending when it's all kicking off, and the little boy with the curly hair, no, I forget his character name, but his comedy moments in those moments of, oh shit, it's really hit the fan right now, and his little one or two liners that are just dropped in there to like make you feel more comfortable again as you watch.
That's it.
So well written, and it's just left me that I can literally not wait. And I know the second that goes live on Netflix, I'm watching every episode. I'll probably do them all in a day this time. I just find a day, book it, get them watched.
Stranger Things Day.
And then cry that I've got nothing else to watch again then for 3 months.
How about music? Songs?
But like musical endings.
Yeah, because songs...
Oh, don't.
Go on.
Well, we all know what the worst ending to a song ever is, don't we? Should we do this at the same time? Do you want to just...
No,
we haven't rehearsed this. I bet you if Gareth was on here right now, Gareth Millwood, who's one of the dwellers, by the way, I bet you if he was on here right now, I would be able to count to 3 and we'd start singing the same line instantly. Should we try it?
Go on then.
1, 2, 3. A lovely day.
day. I knew it. It started to kind of. I love the song. I do love the song, but it does say "a lovely day" way too many times. Yeah, he does say "lovely day" way too many times. And
God,
it doesn't ruin the song, but
it bloody does.
You got to fade that song out faster.
It does. It really does. It's awful. It's the worst ending to a song ever.
No, it's not. Come on. It can't be the worst.
It is. It's terrible. It's so irritating. It's unbelievable. Not like Fleetwood Mac's.
Oh, The Chain. Oh, well, that's... I mean, that's the gold standard. It's a different song.
It's a different song, yeah.
It's a different song. If you want to end your song with a different song altogether, then that's your blueprint, I guess.
Yeah. There's people that have done that.
Was there one from like Dr. Dre where he just ended "smoke weed every day"?
Yeah.
That's it.
Why not? Public. That was just a public announcement thrown in right at the
public health announcement. Yeah.
I tell you.
Guidance.
Yeah, I tell you one of the best endings to anything. And you ain't
just anything in general.
You're not going to believe this. I promise you.
Okay.
One of the few books I ever read.
I don't believe it.
And I watched.
Steve and Reed, they don't go together.
It was a Dan Brown book. And I don't know why, but I deliberately, he obviously had this, he had a few different ones out at the time that were quite popular. They made a couple of films out of. So I decided to read
all that. And
but I decided to read the one I'd never heard of. Okay. So I went for Deception Point.
Yeah, I think you told me about it. Yeah.
Flipping good that was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I lose interest in books so quickly. Like, I'll start reading, I'm sure I've got some form of dyslexia or something. I don't know. As soon as I start reading, I just want to fall asleep within minutes. This thing, from probably chapter 1, I was gripped. And I couldn't let go of the freaking thing. And I think I read that book in like 2.5 days.
Well, that's impressive because if
and
you
it's
can,
a big ass book.
Not every, I think, especially at the moment, there's less and less people that are reading. They are enjoying stories still, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, dwellers, but I think people are more, they'll do an audiobook. They'll listen to something in the car on the way to work or on the train. They'll take the story in, but there's less people getting a physical book out and flicking the pages, which is, for me in my industry, is quite sad. But we are looking to move into that audiobook world. But to get you hooked on a book, that's impressive. And I'm not a big Dan Brown fan, but that, big props.
No, I was quite conscious that he was quite a sort of mainstream writer. So I figured, and I don't particularly like to do the whole mainstream thing if I can help it. I like to just look for underground stuff where possible. But It got me
If it's
right from the
good, it doesn't
beginning.
matter where it
Yeah,
comes from, does it?
yeah, it got me.
Okay.
But the ending to that was just genius, and I'm amazed that out of all of his books, that's the one that hasn't been turned into a film.
Might have done. It just might not have been that
I don't think,
successful. I don't know.
I don't think it has. I
No.
would have heard about it. I've been looking for it.
That's another thing. If you say that, well, I think I put something up about like horror movie adaptations on the corner the other day, and that could bring you to like kind of endings and like arguments over endings. When you had The Shining, you had the book, then you had Kubrick's version, and they were completely different. They're completely different endings.
Yeah.
And Stephen King wasn't happy. Eventually, he kind of softened to it and kind of accepted it as a separate piece of artistic work. But yeah, those are two endings that were very, very different. But they're called the same thing, but they're very different products. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And especially the end. But I think they're both quite memorable endings, personally. With the book, the book is better. But
I think
Kubrick's
horror
version is just a completely different baby.
I think horror movie endings are always the most rubbish. Always, because you can pretty much guarantee the ending. It's always the same story, and it's like boy and girl.
There's less
kind of
places
hate
to go. There are less places to go generally.
Boy and
but there
girl
are-
hate each other. Then they end up in a really scary predicament. Then
No,
they
I
end up
think-
liking each other. Then one of them gets murdered.
Do you
No,
remember Saw?
Yeah, they were good. They were pretty good.
I think Saw was the first Saw. The ending. You either people say, yeah, it was so obvious. Blah 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 blah. It wasn't obvious to me. My wife always can like figures out twists, and I feel quite sorry for her. I feel quite sorry for her really because like the enjoyment that I like not knowing, and I like being taken on the journey. And Saw did. It surprised me. The ending.
Yeah. What about Saw? What about Saw 36? Did you watch that one?
Exactly. It turned it into a franchise. They made too many, and I think it lost all momentum and credibility. But I thought the first one, Kerry Elves, I thought that was good, man. I thought that was good. Someone said something the other day though. They thought was I can't remember quite obvious. They thought when he chops off. Anyway, let's not go into that.
Yeah, that was.
He has to cut himself out. Yeah. Well,
yes. Yeah.
My friend came up with an alternative that seems quite obvious, but he's got to be wrong. I'm going to need to watch the film again. But he's got to be wrong. My friend has to be wrong because they couldn't not have thought of that.
The ending.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the end. Sorry, you just reminded me of something. But the ending to holy poop and what was he called?
Please remember a name, Steve. Come on, you can do this.
Oh, hang on. So
we should make some notes.
Whilst I'm thinking of this,
yeah.
Respectfully disagree. The ending of John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the best ever.
The
original Night of Living of the Dead is still shocking. I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's like what
I think with horror, it does leave you with less places to go if you're going to be formulaic. You know what I mean? It's easy to be formulaic in the horror genre because you use tropes and you use tactics that are always kind of the same.
Yeah, like the Freddy Krueger movies are pretty much identical to the It movies, and the It movies are pretty much identical to the Michael Myers movies. They all follow a pattern, don't they? It's like,
but there are some
Chinese.
There's some stonking endings though. Some classic horror films. They really are.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Mark on that. But it is hard. I think it might be harder to do with the horror genre because I think there's a little bit less wiggle room.
I think so.
American Werewolf in London. Come on, you cannot argue with the end of that movie.
I tell you,
which
films were good as well. The endings. I don't think anyone's going to agree with this because I don't think that many people will admit to liking them, but they seem to do really well. And I liked 1, 2, and 3. I think since then there's been a 4th and a 5th, which I've never watched. But there was these Paranormal Activity movies. Do you remember?
I watched the first one. Yeah.
The second one, and third one, I genuinely thought were better. But what I liked about was it the second one or was it the first one where the girl at the end No, it's the second one. Where there's like there's a house, and it's where they've been doing things, and then the girl and the other person, it's like a witch. No, it's definitely the second one. I thought the ending to that one was really good. The way she kind of just looks back at I was like, ooh, ooh. And the first one because you don't really ever see anything.
No.
Which is genius.
Yeah.
You never see anything the whole movie, which makes it more real. Them movies kind of messed me sleep patterns up for a little while because they wasn't scary to watch. It was scary at 3 a.m. when you heard a noise and it was the cat out on the landing. Can I just an ending that stayed with me, and I swear to God, it nearly ended up in death for a cat.
God.
So there's a film called God. It was a Paranormal Activity. Oh, no, wasn't. It was about alien abduction, but they made it like a documentary.
God.
Oh, Christ almighty, I've done it again. I'm sure it just goes blank because I'm on the
We are live, Steve.
Basically, there's a movie.
You mean Alien Autopsy with Anton Deck?
No, not that one. But it was a big film anyway. I'll think of the title in a sec. But basically, just to give you the story, we watched this, and it's all filmed like a documentary. So like, there's this bloke, this woman's a therapist, and she's doing her husband's work, and there's all these recordings and different things that have gone on. And then I think her husband dies in the house because something happens in the house, and a kid just vanishes from the bedroom, and the kid gets taken away. So then they've got like police outside the house, and then they've got like CCTV footage, and it's all filmed very rusticy. And there's a cameraman, and you just see this little thing above the house, and you're like, shit, that's a UFO. Anyway, it takes them off. Anyway, this film like messed me up. Like it really played with my mind because I find that kind of stuff plausible.
Sci-fi horror, or just like a
yeah. I will think of it, the title in a sec. It always ends up coming back to me after I finish talking about it. Anyway, what happened was the film ends, and Third Kind. Is that it? The Third Kind, I want to say.
Go on.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's called The Third Kind or something like that. No, that's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'm thinking two different films. Anyway, this movie, I'm going to post it in the corner because it's great to watch. Played with my mind.
You remember what it's called?
And anyway, I went to sleep. I've tried to block it out. It's what I've done. I went to sleep.
It really affected you that bad?
Yeah, I went to sleep. Right, I used to have real vivid nightmares, like quite often. So anyway, I've gone to sleep, and in my dream, right, there's a scene from the film playing out, but in my own house. So I'm in bed, and the landing light's on, and I can see the landing light on underneath the door. And then I see a shadow.
Is it called Fourth Kind by any chance?
Fourth Kind, that's the one. Right.
2009, science fiction, psychological thriller.
Yeah, basically all these people start committing suicide for no reason, but they've all seen the same thing when they talk to the
not like Bird Box.
And it's like an owl or something
That sounds a bit like Bird Box, though.
Yeah, no, but that's no, it's not. It's not the same as Bird Box. Anyway, they've all seen the same thing or similar things, and there's a pattern starting to emerge. But these people then all end up committing suicide. And the reason is, you'll find out in the film, there's something that the aliens have done to them to try and make them want to forget, so that they don't tell people that these beings exist. Anyway, so a lot of people commit suicide over it. Anyway, I'm asleep and the landing light's on. This is in my dream, but I thought it was real. And the landing light's on, and I can see a shadow. So I'm obviously sitting up in my bed, and I'm thinking, what the hell? What is that? Now, obviously, in real life, I'm just dead fast asleep. But in my dream, I'm getting out of bed, so it
Yeah.
feels real. I used
So
to
it
have
feels-
what they're
yeah.
called. Are they called lucid dreams, where you feel like you're actually in the dream and you almost know that you're dreaming? It's like one of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, so anyway, I'm getting up to investigate what's outside the door, and I'm very gingerly walking towards the door to pull the the handle.
Mm.
As I go to pull the handle down, in real life, this is in the real world,
And this is where the cat comes in.
the door handle fucking moves down, opens, and my bedroom door comes open. And I
In
landed
real
on-
life.
Yeah, in real life. And the door was, anyway, I shot up out of bed, immediately still thinking I'm in my dream.
Mm.
I dived and took the door off its hinges. I just attacked the door. I took the door off the hinge. The top hinge was ripped off the wall.
The door did open though.
Yeah, the door opened.
Mm.
What had happened was the cat had tried to jump up, one of two
Mm.
cats at the time. They tried to jump up, pulled the
The
handle.
handle. Yeah.
That had knocked a dressing gown off the back of the, the door, and the whole thing fell and made a big bang, which is what woke me up. So I've rugby tackled this door off its hinges and nearly wiped out a cat in the process. And I just remember looking.
Fourth kind, man.
Normally, cats startled, don't they? And they just leg it. This
Yeah.
cat was on the landing like this. Just,
You've given the fourth kind treatment to a cat.
shit that cat up forever. I don't think it'll ever live it down. But it was because of that film. The ending.
And the
of that
ending
film.
is
very,
memorable.
very. It's a great film. It's really weirdly filmed.
You know
but
what?
It's brilliant.
You're never going to watch Seven, are you? So I'm
I
going
might.
to tell you what the ending of Seven is.
I might.
It,
But go
it
on.
came out in the mid-90s, man. It's too late. You've had enough time. Basically, just very, very quickly. It's very, very, very dark. You got two detectives. Brad Pitt's one of them, the young rookie. Morgan Freeman's the old grandmaster detective, and they're both on this case trying to find a serial killer. I can't believe I'm giving you the story of such an old movie, but it's the ending. It's the ending, man. It's the ending. Yeah, so they're trying to find, and it's basically the 7 deadly sins. That's why it's called 7. So you have gluttony, greed, whatever it might be. Someone that's very lazy. And what this person is doing is if someone is a glutton, he's force feeding them like beans until they explode and stuff like that. Really sick things that he's doing. He's a proper sadist, this person. These people are getting found in very, very, very disturbing ways of being killed. So they're following, and it is very, very grainy, very rainy. And the person that they're trying to find.
Hold on.
Go on.
Keep talking. I think I've seen this. I feel like I have seen.
You must have seen this movie. So anyway,
is there something to do with a pregnant woman involved in this thing?
I think there is, but that's not the ending.
Okay.
It's the ending I want to bring you to.
Yeah.
So
pregnant woman die or something.
Well, so
I can't remember. I don't know.
They catch the guy. They catch the guy, and there's a couple. I think that what happens is that there's a couple more bodies. There's more that they want to know, and he won't tell them. It's Kevin Spacey's character. I know we're not allowed to talk about Kevin Spacey anymore, but he plays it really well. I know. I won't say his name again. But anyway, the character, he won't give this information up. And basically, they've been on this case for days. They both speak to their families. Brad Pitt talks to his wife, and I believe he's Gwyneth Paltrow, and they say, "Oh yeah, I'm fine," So they crack on. And basically, long story short, he takes them out into a field.
Yeah.
And they're driving for like hours and hours and hours, and they go, "What are you doing? You're really taking the mickey out of us. What is there going to be anything out here?"
Yeah.
They drive into the middle of a field. And it's just got a box in the middle of this field. You see it kind of wide range. You just see a box in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And they both look at each other, and they go, "If this is a trick, and if you've wasted our time, we're just going to kill you out and leave you here because you're nothing, you're dirt, you're shit." So they walk over to the box. Morgan Freeman goes first. and the character is just then looking quite smug. And Morgan
Yeah.
Freeman opens the box, and you see him just close it like
I
that.
feel like I have seen this. I just don't know why I can't remember it. It's
And you
all
can see
sounding
he's
familiar.
visibly shaken. And Brad Pitt's like, "What's in it? What's going on?" And he's going to say, "No, Stokes, stay back to Brad Pitt." He's like desperate for him not to come over.
It's a bomb.
And Brad Pitt's like, "No, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Well, I'm coming over." He goes, No, do not come over. Do not come over. And the killer's going, "Go on, show him what's in the box. Show him what's in the box." And he's smiling and looking really proud of himself. Brad Pitt looks at what's in the box. Eventually.
Someone's
like-
no, I remember. I think I remember.
Go on.
Can I say it? Am I going to get the ending wrong? Was it someone's head?
It's his wife's head.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, yeah. Why have I seen that? But I don't feel like I
Of
remember.
course you've
the
seen
name.
Seven. I didn't believe you hadn't, to be fair.
Maybe I have.
It was
But I
the
don't
most
remember
shocking
watching
thing.
it.
And
I don't remember watching it.
the way it's acted, and obviously Morgan Freeman, he gets his gun out, obviously he's crying and screaming, and he gets his gun out, and Morgan Freeman goes, no, don't do it, he knows too much. There's other people, that families that need to know where their blah 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 is, and blah, blah. So there's this long drawn out scene where obviously Brad Pitt is crying and screaming, holding the gun, and Morgan Freeman decided not to kill him.
Yeah, you have to watch this again.
He obviously kills him. And he could not. But yeah, it was.
It took some willpower not to, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm safe with spoilers by now. But it was a very shocking ending to it. I never forgot it.
May have to give that a go.
I never forgot it.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads. Now we're talking about it. I can think of loads of great endings. Like, I think one of my favourite endings of all time as well, actually, was a film called Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler.
I know it.
I like that film.
I can't remember it. I've watched it years ago.
Just massively underrated movie. It was just brilliant.
It's a revenge movie, isn't it?
He's in prison the whole time, and he's doing all these crazy.
It's like is it a revenge movie? From what I can.
Yeah, he basically brings down. Yeah. Well, he's wrongly convicted, isn't he? And but he's not a guy you want to be messing with. And whilst he's.
They never are they? They never are.
Whilst he's inside, he manages to cause a load of shit that can't possibly be him because he's inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind
of
the
ultimate remote worker.
Yeah, he had it down. Right, before we close up on this and we end it, let's give people what we told them at the beginning of the show. So, we've just kind of getting back into the swing of doing the podcast. And at the moment, very loosely doing it at the minute. We've got guests lined up to come back on the show. A lot of them have been very.
Sorry to feel like we're biding time with these topics. We're not. We're enjoying it anyway.
No, we like
there are some plans afoot. Go on.
Yeah, and a lot of people last week watched this after we'd actually done it live and quite enjoyed it. So that's great. You can now follow us and subscribe on YouTube as well. So please go and follow us over on YouTube. Where you can watch any of these back at your leisure. If you've got a smart TV, you can now watch the Facebook videos and the YouTube videos on your smart TV, which is pretty cool, because I didn't know that until about an hour before I come on here, that you can watch Facebook now on the smart TV.
I didn't know that.
That's a new thing. But we have been trying to come up with ideas, as well as getting guests on the podcast and getting people involved, trying to come up with ideas of ways we can keep the corner entertained. And we know a lot of musicians in there, so we've got plans to do some live events. Now, these are going to be properly produced live events with professional sound equipment. We're going to have lighting, multiple camera rigs set up. The whole thing is going to be done in the form of a performance and interview style TV show, which we'll do potentially live, maybe pre-recorded. Depends on the logistics and whether the venue can actually cater for it to be live. But we'd like it to be live
as well. The equipment, venue, and the bands are starting to flood through. So
we would like it to be live because we like you guys to get involved with your questions and stuff
in real time.
In real time. So we'd like it to be live. But we've also got a new site that I'm working on. We're working on at the moment, which is also going to be bringing you some documentaries with some really inspirational creators So that I'm really looking forward to. We'll be making hopefully an episode a month of those. Is my plan.
And we're actually going to be going on location with these people and following them around, seeing how they tick, and if they're doing their work, we're going to be kind of peering over their shoulders, and the rest of the corner will be as well.
We spoke to the first guest today, who's really up for the idea and wants to do a bit of a show us how they got started kind of video. They also said they'd show us their workspace, where they work, where they create, do all of the stuff that they do. It's someone that you guys will all know in the corner. We won't announce it just yet, but that will be the first one. So we've got loads of stuff planned. And we're also toying with the idea of some pay-per-view events as well, a bit later on in the year, which you guys can get involved with, and even potentially some actual real-life live shows where you guys can come along in an actual physical live audience capacity, which would be awesome.
Actually physical, in the flesh.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So we'll get as many dwellers as possible in one location, which would be pretty cool.
It's a bit of a warm-up for Dwellerfest 22.
Dwellerfest 22. That's going to happen.
That's going to happen, I'm telling you.
It's going to happen. Would be great. It's going to be, I would quite like that to be a combination of comedy and musical festival personally, but okay. I will have to fight for that.
You saw the comedians, I'll do the music, because there's loads of musicians on the corner.
It's just been me on a stage telling dad jokes for 8 hours a day. That's it, like Tim Vine. Break.
You could give it a try.
Yeah, maybe not. But yeah, so we've got loads of stuff coming, including merchandise, hats. It just helps support the channel because doing these things is expensive, like just buying the switcher in order to do multicam live setups, a whole bunch of other things that we've had to invest in order to make these future shows that we want to do actually happen is expensive. So if you can support us by subscribing, that'd be great. That's all you got to do. That's completely free, and that does, believe it or not, help us. So what's Nick saying here? Oh my God, I'm sure people know when I want to watch the podcast. I'm back now.
Oh yeah, he was having a bit of a moan about. Hopefully, I can get the kids to bed in time to get onto the podcast. I know.
But don't worry, mate. Nick, you, as I was just saying, you can watch it back, but you can also watch it back on YouTube now. We'll put the YouTube link on the page, on the Chaos Corner group shortly, so you can all go and watch that. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, it's going to help us in the long term. And in return for your loyalty, we're going to be gifting you with some amazing content very soon.
I'm really excited, genuinely. And at the end of the day, when we set this thing up, obviously, forget about last week when it was really late because we messed up with the equipment and my laptop turned itself off. Apart from that, we genuinely want to bring you the best. We don't want to do things by halves. So the things that we have lined up are of the highest quality, no less than what you guys deserve. So
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very fun. But until that happens, that is it from us again. That's another one done. I actually quite enjoyed that. Should we sign it off with a proper ending, or should we just leave?
Yeah, I think we should just.
No.
I think I'm just going to use my regulation catch you on the corner.
See you soon, guys.